Hello there, Sev here from Motorhome Dealer Group, and welcome to this video guide on how to use the Schaudt MP20-T control panel that you see here in front of me. The control panel is this section here where you see these two sort of circular displays or dials, and then there is here the buttons in the center. This particular model also has the addition of a clock face off to the side, but the control panel itself is from here to here. So your vehicle may not have the clock, or it may do, but that's the control panel that we're going to be discussing. Now, this video guide is going to explain what the buttons do, how to use the control panel, the information that it displays and how to interpret it, so that you're going to feel comfortable using this control panel to operate your leisure vehicle. What this video is not going to provide is any troubleshooting or problem solving information, and also please refrain from asking such questions in the comments. That's beyond the scope of this channel. If you are having issues with your control panel or leisure vehicle, please seek the help of a technical professional. So with all that said, without any further ado, let's get into the video guide. So first things first, we have the two faces here that you can see. This particular panel is Detlef's branded. Yours may look slightly different. We then have some buttons and display or sort of markings over here, and then we have some buttons in the center. This button here marked 12 volt, we simply press that, and that is going to enable or disable the power from the leisure battery. So as you can see, when it's turned on, the 12 volt marking or etching illuminates, and when it's off, it extinguishes. So there we go. So that's how we power on and power off the vehicle's 12 volt power supply. If the vehicle is plugged into mains electricity via hookup typically, then the 230 volt will also illuminate here as well. On the buttons here, we have basically the ability to check our water tank levels and battery levels. So they're the first things we're going to check. So that's here, these bottom ones here. So first of all, we have a picture here of a motorhome with a battery in the front. As you can see, it says 12 volt and a little picture of a battery there. So if I press that button, that is now telling us the vehicle battery voltage. That's the battery in the front of the vehicle, of course, the engine or starter battery. So it's telling us the voltage there, as you can see, illuminated as LEDs on that segmented display on the left of the dial itself there. If I press this one here, this is the leisure battery. As you can see, it's the battery in the rear of the motorhome there. So if I press that, we're going to get the same sort of display. As you can see, we get the voltage reading there. But what this also is telling us is the amps. So as you can see at the moment, it's giving us an indication of roughly how much energy is either going into or out of the battery. That's the ammeter there. So as you can see, we are pulling energy out of the battery, and we're reading somewhere in the sort of mid 12s or low 12s on the voltage there. So that is how you are going to read your battery voltages. So yes, as the observant of you will have noticed, there is no ammeter for checking the vehicle battery, but for the leisure battery you get an ammeter as well. One point I need to add is that if at any point you notice the LED here for 11 volts and the V here, which I can illuminate there. So this V and that bottom LED there illuminates or flashes at any point. That means the leisure battery has dropped too low in charge. It's critically low and it needs a charge. And on some vehicles, there may be protections in place to start shutting off 12 volt devices automatically to help protect the battery. So if you turn on the 12 volt supply here and that illuminates along with the V and starts flashing, then you desperately need to charge the battery because it's got critically low and you run the risk very much so of damaging the battery. Over here we have the water tank. So if I press this here, we're going to see this dial come into play. So first of all, we have two tanks that are going to be read out on here. The left tank is going to be the fresh tank, and that's going to illuminate here when there is water in the tank. Now at the moment it's flashing red, and that's because the fresh water tank on this particular vehicle is empty. So that is telling us we have low water capacity there. That's the sort of low water alarm, if you will. The waste tank is this tank on the right, and we can tell that because there is a little outlet on the bottom of the picture for that tank on this side, and everything is looking good there. So on our waste water or our grey water tank there, we have nothing inside, so of course that tank is absolutely fine. And it's just one button, so one button shows us both tanks at the same time. Next up, we have here two buttons. These are going to be for displaying the temperature information on the panel itself here. There is a little display there. This left-hand button is the temperature inside the motorhome or the leisure vehicle, as you can see. And this one here is the temperature outside, because the thermometer is on the outside. So internal temperature there is 22 degrees, and then press that one there, and it's 17 degrees outside. Nice and easy. And as you can see, whenever we press any of these buttons, basically there is a small period of time that the information will display on the panel. Before then, the panel will turn off to not essentially leave any annoying lights on. Of course, in the nighttime, that can be quite annoying if you have lots of lights on. The only light that will stay illuminated when the panel is on is going to be this 12-volt light here. Lastly, we have the res button here. If we press that, that is basically a spare or a reserve. This can be wired to power many different things. Of course, it's like an auxiliary essentially. That can be used to power many different systems or devices depending on the make model of your vehicle and what they've decided to connect to this button. So that is very much going to depend on your vehicle. So I would recommend reading the instruction manual for your vehicle to understand if this is actually functional on your panel, and if it is, what it's going to be operating. And just for those that do have the clock here, as you can see, there is a clock mounted to this side of the panel, and I do believe we take off this I need a tool here. You need a little screwdriver, but you can take this little plug out. It's a bit hard to see in the video there. Maybe if I turn on the entranceway light here, you can see it. There you go. You can see this blanking plug. I believe you take that out and you can access the control to change the time there. Otherwise, that is basically it for the clock. It's a simple clock. But as you can see, where this dividing line is, that is an additional feature. The control panel itself is everything left of the line that we've already covered. And there we go. That about wraps up the video guide. Hopefully you found it useful and informative. I'm Sev, and thank you very much for watching.